God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul." This message is not loud, it does not rush you, and it does not force itself upon you. It arrives gently, because truth never needs pressure. If you are here right now, it is not coincidence. It is alignment. Something within you recognized this message before your mind even tried to understand it. And that alone is already a sign. There are certain souls who walk through life feeling different, even when they try very hard to fit in. They feel deeply, think deeply, and question life at a level others may never reach. They are often misunderstood, sometimes isolated, and frequently tested. These are not accidents of personality. These are markers of calling. God does not mark His chosen ones with comfort first. He marks them with awareness. The first sign that reveals you are chosen is this: your life has never been ordinary, even when it looked simple from the outside. You may have lived a quiet life, but inside you, storms of thought, emotion, and reflection have always existed. From a young age, you sensed that life had meaning beyond survival, beyond money, beyond approval. While others were satisfied with surface-level answers, you kept searching for something deeper. That hunger did not come from lack. It came from purpose. You have noticed that challenges come to you earlier than others. Responsibilities find you before you feel ready. Lessons arrive before comfort. This is not because God is harsh with you, but because He trusts you. He knows your capacity, even when you doubt it yourself. What feels like pressure is actually preparation. What feels like delay is alignment happening quietly. The second sign is this: you feel pain more deeply, but you also heal more deeply. You are not numb to the world. Other people's emotions affect you. Words stay with you longer. Silence speaks loudly to you. You have been hurt in ways that changed you, yet somehow, you did not become bitter. Instead, you became more understanding, more compassionate, more aware of how fragile human hearts truly are. This is not weakness. This is spiritual sensitivity. God does not give a soft heart to just anyone. He gives it to those who are meant to carry light into dark places. You may have asked yourself why you feel things so strongly, why you cannot simply ignore pain the way others do. The answer is simple: you were not created to ignore. You were created to transform. What passes through you does not stay the same. The third sign is subtle but powerful: you often feel pulled away from places, people, or paths that no longer align with your inner truth. Even when something looks good on paper, even when others encourage you, something inside you resists if it is not meant for you. This inner resistance is not confusion. It is guidance. God speaks to chosen ones through inner nudges long before outer signs appear. You may have walked away from situations without fully understanding why. Later, you realized it saved you. You may have felt restless in environments where others felt comfortable. That restlessness was not dissatisfaction. It was your spirit refusing to shrink. Chosen souls cannot remain where growth is not possible. Comfort that costs alignment will always feel heavy to you. The fourth sign is this: you experience periods of loneliness that push you inward rather than outward. Your isolation has never been empty. It has always been reflective. When you are alone, you do not feel lost forever. You think. You grow. You reconnect with yourself. God often separates chosen ones, not as punishment, but as protection. Not everyone deserves access to your energy while you are being shaped. There were seasons where people drifted away, conversations faded, and connections changed. You wondered if something was wrong with you. But the truth is, God removes noise so you can hear your own soul clearly. Chosen ones are refined in silence before they are trusted with influence. The fifth sign begins quietly and grows stronger over time. You feel a responsibility toward your life that goes beyond personal success. Deep inside, you know your existence is not just about you. You sense that what you become, how you heal, and how you live will impact others in ways you may never fully see. This awareness sometimes feels heavy, but it also gives your life meaning. You are not chasing validation anymore. You are chasing alignment. You are not asking, "How do I get more?" You are asking, "How do I live truthfully?" This shift does not happen in everyone. It happens in those who are being prepared to lead by example, not by force. If these words feel familiar, if they feel like they are describing parts of you that you rarely talk about, understand this clearly: you are not imagining it. God's chosen ones often doubt themselves because humility keeps them grounded. But doubt does not erase calling. It only delays recognition. This message is not here to elevate your ego. It is here to remind your spirit. Being chosen does not mean being better than others. It means being entrusted with deeper awareness, stronger lessons, and a greater responsibility to live with integrity. God chooses servants before He chooses leaders. He chooses listeners before He chooses speakers. Right now, you are not being asked to do anything. You are only being asked to understand who you are becoming. Awareness comes before action. Recognition comes before responsibility. And this is only the beginning of that understanding. God says, now that you have recognized the signs within yourself, it is time to understand why your journey has unfolded the way it has. Many chosen souls become aware of their difference, but few understand the purpose behind it. Awareness without understanding can feel confusing. That is why this message continues, not to overwhelm you, but to gently bring clarity to what has already been stirring inside your heart for a long time. One of the deepest truths about being chosen is this: your struggles were never random. Every delay, every closed door, every season where you felt unseen carried meaning. While others receive things quickly, you were asked to wait. While others found easy paths, yours demanded patience and resilience. This was not because God favored them more. It was because your foundation needed to be stronger. What you are meant to carry cannot rest on shallow ground. You may have noticed that whenever you tried to force life to move faster, it resisted you. But when you surrendered and listened inwardly, things aligned naturally. This is how God trains His chosen ones, by teaching them to trust timing over impulse. You are not built for shortcuts. You are built for endurance, clarity, and long-lasting impact. Another sign that continues to reveal your calling is how truth finds you again and again, even when you try to ignore it. You may distract yourself, stay busy, or focus outwardly, yet the same realizations return in quiet moments. Certain thoughts come back at night. Certain questions refuse to fade. This is not restlessness. This is divine persistence. God does not allow chosen souls to remain asleep for too long. You have likely experienced moments where your intuition warned you before things happened. Not loudly, not dramatically, but softly. A feeling you could not explain. A sense that something was off, or something was right, even without evidence. Later, you realized that inner voice was accurate. This is not imagination. This is discernment being sharpened. Chosen ones are taught to hear before they are taught to speak. Your relationships also carry a pattern that many do not notice until later in life. People come into your life to awaken something, not to stay forever. Some taught you strength, some taught you boundaries, some taught you forgiveness, and some taught you self-respect through pain. You may have questioned why connections end just when you grow attached. But God often removes people once their role in your becoming is complete. This does not mean you are meant to be alone. It means you are meant to be aligned. Temporary connections refine you so permanent ones can recognize you. Chosen souls are shaped through relationships that teach, not just comfort. Another truth you are now ready to hear is this: you have been protected in ways you will never fully understand. Situations that could have destroyed you quietly dissolved. Paths that looked promising suddenly closed. Decisions you didn't make saved you more than decisions you did. At times, you felt disappointed. In reality, you were being spared. Protection does not always feel like blessing in the moment. God shields chosen ones not by removing all pain, but by preventing irreversible damage. You were allowed to feel, but not to be consumed. You were allowed to stumble, but not to fall permanently. This balance is intentional. As your awareness grows, you may feel a shift happening inside you. Old desires no longer excite you the same way. Noise feels exhausting. Superficial conversations drain you. You crave depth, honesty, and meaning. This is another sign unfolding naturally. You are being prepared for a life guided by purpose, not distraction. You are also learning a powerful lesson slowly but surely: you cannot pour from an empty soul. God is teaching you boundaries, not to isolate you, but to preserve you. Chosen ones must learn when to give and when to rest. Burnout serves no divine plan. Wholeness does. There will be moments when you question whether this path is worth it. When life feels heavier than expected. When growth feels lonely. In those moments, remember this truth: you were never meant to walk this journey blindly. Every realization you gain brings you closer to peace. Every layer you shed brings you closer to your authentic self. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are unfolding exactly as you are meant to. God does not rush transformation. He honors depth over speed. This message continues because your understanding is expanding. And with understanding comes responsibility, not to be perfect, but to be honest with yourself. To live with intention. To trust the quiet guidance within you. What comes next is not pressure. It is alignment. And alignment always begins within. God says, as you move deeper into this understanding, it becomes important to recognize how your inner world has been quietly reshaped over time. Chosen ones are not marked by loud signs or dramatic announcements. They are marked by transformation that happens slowly, invisibly, and deeply. You did not wake up one day as someone new. You became someone new through countless unseen moments where you chose growth over bitterness, awareness over denial, and faith over fear. One of the strongest signs continuing to reveal itself is how you have learned to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. While many seek constant distraction, you have faced silence, uncertainty, and unanswered questions. Those moments were not empty. They were shaping your emotional strength. God uses silence to build discernment. When noise fades, truth becomes audible. You may have noticed that your reactions have changed. Situations that once triggered anger now invite reflection. Circumstances that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. This is not because life became easier. It is because you became stronger internally. Emotional maturity is a quiet but powerful sign of divine preparation. Chosen souls are trained to respond, not react. Another truth unfolding in this phase is how you feel drawn toward purpose rather than approval. You no longer feel fulfilled by pleasing everyone. You no longer measure your worth by validation. Instead, there is a growing need to live honestly, even if that honesty costs you comfort. This shift often feels lonely, but it is necessary. God never builds destiny on people-pleasing. He builds it on integrity. You may also sense that your energy affects others more than you realize. People open up to you unexpectedly. Strangers trust you with their stories. Those around you feel calmer, understood, or encouraged in your presence. Even when you say very little. This is not accidental. Chosen ones carry a quiet frequency of empathy and awareness. You don't fix people, you remind them of themselves. At times, this sensitivity has felt like a burden. You may have wished you could care less, feel less, or detach more easily. But this depth is not a flaw. It is a responsibility. God entrusts awareness only to those who can hold it without becoming hardened. Your compassion is guided, not draining, when aligned properly. You are also learning that your journey cannot be compared. When you tried to measure your progress against others, it never felt right. Their timelines did not fit yours. Their goals did not fulfill you. This is because chosen paths are custom designed. Comparison creates confusion where purpose requires clarity. God does not duplicate assignments. Another sign strengthening now is your relationship with patience. You are beginning to understand that waiting is not punishment. It is positioning. What is meant for you is being aligned with who you are becoming. If it arrived too early, it would not last. If it arrived without preparation, it would overwhelm you. Timing is not delay, it is protection. You may also notice an increased awareness of what drains you versus what nourishes you. Certain environments feel heavy. Certain conversations feel empty. And certain moments, simple, quiet ones, feel deeply fulfilling. This is your inner compass refining itself. God teaches chosen ones to listen inwardly before making outward moves. There is also a subtle but important shift happening in how you view control. Earlier, you may have tried to manage outcomes, fix situations, or predict endings. Now, you are learning to trust unfolding instead. Surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. When you release control, you allow guidance to work through you rather than against you. Your faith, too, has matured. It is no longer dependent on constant reassurance or signs. It exists quietly, steadily, even when answers are delayed. This is one of the deepest signs of being chosen, faith that remains without force. God values trust that does not demand proof at every step. You are also becoming more selective, not just with people, but with thoughts. You no longer entertain every doubt. You question negative narratives. You pause before accepting fear-based assumptions. This mental clarity is part of your preparation. A clear mind is essential for a purposeful life. As this message continues, understand this: nothing about your journey has been wasted. Every experience has added dimension to who you are. Every challenge refines something essential within you. You are not being shaped for noise or chaos. You are being shaped for influence, peace, and long-term impact. What lies ahead will require calm strength, emotional stability, and grounded faith. And that is exactly what is being built within you now, quietly, patiently, intentionally. This is not the end of understanding. It is a deepening of it. God says, now you are standing at a quiet turning point in your understanding. Not a dramatic moment, not something loud or visible to everyone around you, but a deeply personal realization that settles inside your heart. You are beginning to see yourself clearly, not through labels given by others, not through past mistakes, and not through temporary struggles, but through the lens of purpose. This clarity does not rush you. It grounds you. It reminds you that who you are becoming matters more than what you have already endured. One of the final and most powerful signs of being chosen is this: you no longer need chaos to feel alive. Peace has started to feel meaningful to you. Calm no longer feels boring. Silence no longer feels empty. Instead, these spaces have become places where you feel closest to yourself and closest to God. This shift is rare. Most people chase noise because they are afraid of stillness. You are learning that stillness is where truth lives. You may notice now that your desires are changing. What once seemed important has lost its shine. What once felt urgent now feels unnecessary. And what truly matters has become simple: clarity, alignment, honesty, and inner peace. This does not mean you lack ambition. It means your ambition is finally aligned with your soul. God refines desire before fulfilling destiny. Another sign becoming undeniable is how you are no longer defined by your past. You remember it, you respect what it taught you, but it no longer controls your identity. Guilt has loosened its grip. Regret no longer whispers as loudly. You are understanding that growth is not about erasing the past, but about no longer living inside it. This emotional freedom is essential for the future you are being prepared for. You are also beginning to trust your inner guidance more than outside noise. Advice still matters, wisdom still helps, but you are no longer easily swayed. You pause. You feel. You reflect. And then you decide. This is discernment. And it is one of the clearest markers of a chosen path. God does not guide through confusion. He guides through quiet knowing. There is also a deeper compassion forming within you, not just for others, but for yourself. You are learning to forgive your own delays, your own confusion, your own seasons of weakness. You are realizing that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. This self-compassion is not self-indulgence. It is healing. And healing is necessary before elevation. As this journey unfolds, you may notice that things start aligning without force. Conversations happen at the right time. Opportunities feel natural instead of stressful. Decisions feel lighter. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. When you stop resisting who you are meant to be, life begins to cooperate instead of challenge. Another powerful truth now settling in is that you were never meant to fit in everywhere. Some doors did not open because they were never part of your assignment. Some connections faded because they could not travel where you are going. This was not loss. This was redirection. God protects chosen ones by removing what no longer matches their growth. You are also learning that faith does not always mean certainty. Sometimes faith means movement without full clarity. It means trusting the next step without seeing the entire path. And you are doing that now, even if quietly, even if imperfectly. Courage does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "I will keep going." At this stage, your strength is no longer reactive. It is steady. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to convince anyone. Your confidence is becoming internal. This is important, because what lies ahead will require you to stand firm without applause and move forward without permission. God says, understand this clearly, you are not late, you are not behind, and you are not forgotten. You are exactly where refinement meets readiness. The foundation has been laid carefully. What comes next will be built on wisdom, not urgency. Your future does not need to look like anyone else's. It only needs to feel true to who you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is calm, aware, grounded, and guided. Take a moment and let that truth settle. If this message resonated with you, take a quiet moment to acknowledge it. If these words felt personal, meaningful, or grounding, let that awareness stay with you. Like this video to affirm the journey you are on. Share it with someone who may need calm clarity today. Comment with a word that describes what you felt while listening. Subscribe to stay connected with messages that support growth, faith, and inner strength. Your journey matters. And you don't have to walk it alone.